Evening. Time is 6:30 p.m. The regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold for September 18th, 2023 is now called to order. Notice of the time, date, and location of this meeting was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 231 of the laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. Captain Stepnick, please lead us.
Sir. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kane.
Here.
Councilman Benedetto. Councilwoman Jordan. Here. Councilman Wright.
Here.
Councilwoman Rogers. Councilman Schnurr.
Here.
Councilwoman Schuster.
Here.
Okay, item 4 this evening is the approval of minutes council meeting September 5th, 2023.
I'd like to move those minutes, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan.
Yes.
Bryce.
Yes.
Schnurr.
Yes.
Schuster.
Yes.
Okay, the minutes of council meeting September 5th, 2023 are approved. Item 5 is the second reading and public hearing ordinance 2023/23, amending and supplementing Chapter 3 Revenue and Finance of the Code of the Borough of Freehold pertaining to transfer and user taxes on the sale and transfer of medical cannabis. This is a second reading and public hearing. I'd like to open it up to the public. If anyone from the public has a question regarding this ordinance, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Seeing no comment from the public, I move the public portion be closed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan.
Yes.
Bryce.
Yes.
Schnurr.
Yes.
Schuster.
Yes.
We have a resolution adopting ordinance 2023/23 and authorization of publication.
I'll move that.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan.
Yes.
Bryce.
Yes.
Schnurr.
Yes.
Schuster.
Will we need 3 votes to carry? Of the 4? Because you know I vote no on principle here. But if it means that it would table
No, you need a majority. Majority
of who's here?
Of who's here?
No.
Okay, ordinance 2023/23 is adopted. Item 6 is a proclamation of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold declaring September 15th, 2023 through October 15th, 2023 Hispanic Heritage Month in the Borough of Freehold. I'd like to ask Councilman Rice if he would read this into the record, please.
It'd be my pleasure, Mr. Mayor. Proclamation of Freehold, of the Borough of Freehold. Whereas each year, the federal, state, and local governments observe Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th through October 15th by recognizing and celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. And whereas September 15th is significant as a starting date for Latino Heritage Month because it is the anniversary of independence for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence on September 16th and September 18th, respectively, and Columbus Day, or Dia de la Raza, which is October 12th, falls within this 30-day period. And whereas Hispanics and Latinos are the second largest ethnic group in the state of New Jersey, and at 19.1% of the United States population, make up the largest ethnic or race minority group in America. And whereas Hispanics and Latinos have and continue to serve as civil rights leaders, educators, public servants, business owners, activists, artists, colleagues, friends, and much more in our community and across the world. And their values, service to others, nonviolence, acceptance of all people, respect for life and the environment, and celebrating community are also America's values. And whereas Hispanics and Latinos continue to enrich our nation's character, shape our common future, and affirm the narrative of American unity and progress. And whereas, during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate Hispanic culture, honor the invaluable ways Hispanics contribute to our common goal, and work towards a stronger, more inclusive, more prosperous society for all. And now, therefore, I, Kevin Kane, Mayor of the Borough of Freehold, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim September 15th, 2023 through October 15th, 2023, Hispanic Heritage Month, and encourage all citizens to recognize the significance of Hispanic heritage and history in our nation and city. Signed, Kevin A. Kane, Mayor, September 16th, 2023.
Thank you. That was, that proclamation was presented in person Saturday at the Latino Festival of Monmouth County. Thank you, Councilman.
My pleasure.
Item 7 this evening is another proclamation. The Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold declaring September 2023 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And I'd like to ask Councilwoman Schutzer if she would please read this into the record.
And I will tell you that I wish there were no need to read this into the record. This is a scary situation. Proclamation of the Borough of Freehold declaring September 2023 Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas this year, approximately 288,300 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States alone. One man every 2 minutes, and roughly 34,700 will die this year from this disease, about 3,500 more than in 2020, which is one man every 15 minutes. And whereas in New Jersey, an estimated 9,460 new cases of prostate cancer will be diagnosed, and an estimated 730 deaths will occur in 2023 in New Jersey. And whereas men with relatives, that is fathers, brothers, sons, with a history of prostate cancer are twice as likely to develop the disease. And whereas prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in American men, and the third leading cause of cancer deaths behind lung and colon cancer. And whereas 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer excuse me, in their lifetime, and 1 in 6 African American men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. Overall, African American men are 1.7 times more likely to be diagnosed with, and 2.1 times more likely to die from prostate cancer than white men are. Whereas veterans who were exposed to herbicides like Agent Orange are at increased risk for developing prostate cancer and are more likely to have an aggressive form of the disease. And whereas education regarding prostate cancer and early detection strategies is critical to saving lives, preserving and protecting our families, as well as the economic and social burden of prostate cancer is huge on families. And whereas if caught early, prostate cancer has a 5-year survival rate of nearly 100%. However, for late-stage prostate cancer, the 5-year survival rate is 31%. And whereas many more men will be diagnosed in 2023 at a later stage because of delayed screenings and treatment due to COVID-19. And whereas all men are at risk for prostate cancer, and we encourage the citizens of the Borough of Freehold to increase the importance of prostate awareness and screenings. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Mayor Kane, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 to be Prostate
Thank you, Councilwoman. Item 8 this evening is our consent agenda. Just a note that matters listed on the items of consent agenda are required to conduct the day-to-day operations of the borough will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired of any items, that item will be considered separately. Someone would like to move consent agenda items CR1 through CR4?
I offer that.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Schnur?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda items CR1 through CR4 are adopted. Item 9 this evening is the approval of bills.
I'd like to move that we pay our bill.
I'd like to second that.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Schnur?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, our bill list is approved. Item 10 is redevelopment presentation, Auto Pro Collision Inc., 38 East Main Street, Block 62, Lot 23.01 and 24, amended minor subdivision. I'd like to ask Councilor Good if he would just set this up for us tonight, please.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Councilman, this is Auto Pro. They have been here before. They had an approved plan to expand their business just off the Market Yard back in 2020. Part of that approval, they went before the planning board after getting the okay from here, was to allow, we're losing 4 parking spots in the market yard to allow ingress to the back of their shop, back of their yard. There's been some back and forth with the borough's not happy giving up spots, so what we have is applicant has agreed that if we were going to allow to drive aisle lose the 4 spots, they would dedicate, actually here is transferring the property that was part of Auto Pro's parcel, now be attached to the market yard and stripe it to allow for 7 new parking spaces. So a net gain to the borough of 3 spaces. So here we are just subdividing the land to allow that parcel or that portion to be consumed by the market yard and to allow the borough, after the striping, allow for the parking, public parking, which will also be part of our leader parking.
Good evening, Sal Stroud, here on behalf of the applicant. Council was accurate in his summary. The project that was originally approved had a slightly larger building. When we had to think about the redesign and the reconfiguration of the parking spots to give the borough additional spaces on Market Yard, we also reduced the size of the building somewhat. It's still going to be very attractive. It's going to be it's going to be a great improvement over what you see in Market Yard today in terms of the architecture. What we're doing, what we're here for tonight is to hopefully get the endorsement of the mayor and council so that we can go back to the planning for an amended subdivision approval and amended site plan approval. Subdivision is required because we're taking land off of a house that's on Hudson and annexing it to our lot. So we're essentially squaring off our lot at the back, and then we're going to have all of our activity. There was a dumpster that was close, it was somewhat on the Market Yard parking lot. We moved everything onto our site, so there's no interaction between the 2 sites. And we are going to create 7 new Market Yard stalls where 4 currently exist. It will be a net gain of 3, as indicated by council. We have our clients here, our engineers here, our architects here, if you want to see it, anything. We did show you the revised plan some time ago, and everyone seemed positive about it, but we didn't work through the parking reconfiguration, which we've now done. Anthony has done his report, which we have no issues with, and we would address his comments as part of the planning board review process. But we're here if you want Greg to, or our engineer Joe to show you the plan real quick so you can see what
Yeah,
we're doing.
that'd be a good idea.
Okay, Joe, you want to?
Services, Manasquan, New Jersey. My office prepared the plan. You see at the center of the site, the proposed building, and the east of the site, or west side of the site, the proposed parking. So first off, this is the subdivision map, which shows the parcels. This is the parcel that's going to be on the market yard, which is on the north side of the site. And there's an existing residential parcel that fronts on Hudson Street that currently goes all the way through. You see the existing lot line here. So it's currently a long lot that fronts both on the market yard and Hudson. The borough previously approved the redevelopment plan to allow for that subdivision to reduce the size of that lot fronting on Hudson. The home is towards the front, their driveway, all the parking, everything is towards the front of the property. The only thing in the back currently is a dilapidated garage that's unusable right now and lawn area. So the intention was to obtain that land, add it to the existing Auto Pro site, and allow for development. Since then, as indicated, there was a concern about placing those parking stalls that we're dedicating to the borough on an easement. So we're now carving off this little piece here and giving that to the borough, which is attached to the market yard. And what that does is allows the borough to fully own the 7 parking stalls that are proposed. So right now, this is the garage that's there. This is all lawn. There are 4 parking stalls on the market yard right now. It's the parking stalls immediately to the right of Auto Pro if you're looking at it today. So the proposal would be to keep 1 stall next to the existing Auto Pro building, and then allow for 2 small islands and an aisle to get into a new parking area that would have 3 parking stalls on either side. A total of 6 interior. 1 stays here, which still faces towards the market yard, for a total of 7 public parking stalls, where 4 existed previously. So in total, the borough nets an additional 3 public parking stalls as a result of the application forward of a fence. And then behind that, the owner of Auto Pro would then obtain additional parking as well at the rear of that lot, as well as behind the building. So all in all, the borough nets additional parking, the site nets additional parking. It allows for the construction of the building, which is going to bring everything interior. You know the Auto Pro site, you know the left side, the east side is that gravel parking area, not really used for parking. It's kind of an overflow area. That'll all now inside. So that was the whole pitch previously. That's continuing. That will bring everything inside, have ample room to store vehicles that are being repaired inside the building, so they're at a site, more desirable visual environment. But the other benefits here are we can add a handicap parking stall now. Previously, the plan had the building coming right up to the property line. Again, we made the building smaller. That benefited us by allowing us to add a loading zone, true handicap parking stall on the site as opposed to in the market yard. We were going to stripe a stall previously. So all benefits for the borough compared to what you've already approved previously. And again, you gave 1 more parking stall. Previously, we were giving the borough 6 stalls. Now we're giving them 7. And it's going to be on land owned by the borough as opposed to in an easement, which is a better solution for the borough.
The fence is it's the operable fence, correct? That's the access way?
Yes, it'll be an operable gate, sliding gate.
And that's during the day, is that kept closed or is it kept open?
Operationally, typically it's kept open to some extent. This is proposed as parking,
Right.
so it shouldn't be unsightly or anything.
My concern was basically that if someone didn't realize where the extent of the market yard parking was inside that enclosure, that they might pass through the gate and then park on the applicant's property.
And your engineer has noted that in their report, and we've identified, and we'll make it more abundantly clear through the planning board process. There'll be signage in that to make sure it's abundantly clear, private parking past here.
So in order for the patrons of downtown, they have to go through that entrance?
Correct. They're going to see an aisle here, a driveway with some additional parking, and there was a request to provide a sign out front that says more public parking this way.
And you think that people that are cruising the parking lot on a Friday evening will differentiate
think on a Friday night, this gate's going to be closed, and they're gonna look for every spot that's possibly open.
Yeah, but they might think, even with the signage, they might think that belongs to their applicant. and not part of it.
I'm assuming you'll have meters there too, right?
There's no actual meters.
I mean, you'll have the signage for the.
We'll have the numbers on the ground, or, and again, it was, that was brought up by the engineer. We provide signage out front that says additional public parking here. And I think when people are searching, they see that sign, they will obviously know. And it may take a little learning curve for the public to see it, but there will be signage here. We can make it as clear as the borough wants it. We can stripe, we can sign, and just make it clear, hey, these are public parking stalls for anyone to use.
Is the parking set up as a K-turn out, or is it back out?
It's set up as a standard parking aisle, so they would pull into a spot. It's not very deep, so you'll be able to see if there's an open spot or
No,
not.
I mean, like if you're parking at one of the spots that's adjacent to the fence, you have to back out.
They're going to have to potentially back out or pull straight back and then
Do the K.
pull out, do a K.
So there's not a extended K-turn.
We didn't stripe off one of the spaces to allow for a K-turn location in order to just maximize the
Okay.
parking for the borough. We could, again, we were giving 6 before, but we felt it best to maximize parking.
I would just recommend that the fence have some additional horizontal bracing on it.
Understood?
The refuge, the garbage, where's that?
So previously that was in the location of this stall. We've now relocated that into the private parking area next to the building, right here. It'll be roll-away dumpsters, which are, the owner uses those regularly. He has other facilities in urban areas, Staten Island, that they use roll-away dumpsters regularly.
Is it gonna be in a shielded enclosure?
Yes, it'll be in a fenced enclosure.
I was one of the guys that voted yes the last time, and let me tell you my problem is the spots that were given up, now that we have paid parking, have tremendous value. And I'm not sure I wanna give that up for the internal spots. That's my problem.
Which ones, the ones out front?
Yeah, the ones out front,
You're giving up 3 essentially, because there is one here, right?
Yes, so we are eliminating 3. We're shown as eliminating 3, adding 7. One of them is we're putting some curb around it, but it's already there, it will maintain. So there are 3 that are being removed in this area, being placed along one side, and 3 additional spots for 3 additional fees.
And I guess you're weighing your concern about them not being used, and when the parking lot's full, people find spaces, but versus leaving a substandard, unattractive building that this is gonna be a significant improvement, tax rateable, et cetera, that, I mean, you have junk and everything parked outside, or everything's gonna be inside, so you have to balance. We think parking spaces should be used, because, I mean, me personally, when I know there's spots hidden in the corner, that's where I go immediately. I don't drive around looking for a space. I know where the spaces are, and that's where I park, so. But I do know some people want to be very close to the entrances of the restaurants, and they'll drive around as well.
the stone parking lot, is that all gonna remain, are you gonna pave it?
It's all building now. The stone parking lot's this whole side. The proposed building setback is 2 feet, so it will be encompassed entirely by the building.
And then everything's brought inside the building.
Well, that was part of the original agreement.
Correct.
anyway.
Yep. So that much hasn't changed. We made the building a little smaller and gave the borough 1 additional stall.
Mr. Chairman, I'm curious about the current means of ingress to the lot. There's a fence now that you go in and out. Is that fence going to be closed off?
The fence into the gravel area?
Yeah.
Correct. That'll be removed completely. The front of the building will be new pavement, will be striped for loading in a handicap accessible parking stall, and there will be overhead doors on the front. So
So you'll be able to pull out in and out there.
Correct, there'll be an overhead door pulling out of the building.
Okay,
In fact, two of them.
okay.
Has the additional parking spaces, have they been designed so that the borough can plow or clear the parking spots in inclement weather?
We do have some small islands here that would allow for some,
Can it be a snow plow, or would it have to be like a snow blower?
I would imagine a snow plow could do it, but you're gonna plow into probably one of the parking stalls.
Maybe you guys can.
I think we're gonna plow ours, so we
Yeah.
have no issue doing it. We're gonna have to do ours.
Because it's a difficult spot to get into,
Yeah.
especially if you're gonna plow. Your only option is to basically block the fence, which is not very neighborly.
Understood?
So if there's a way that
We could certainly plow and bring our snow, whatever we're doing here, we can do there. We have to work something to bring it out. We have no issue.
Also, the spots are so close to the building, it's a liability of plowing
Right.
up against that building.
We have no issue.
are there curb stops?
Yes, there'll be curb stops along the building. That was a note in the review letter. We have them on the opposite side. We do have to add them along the building.
Okay, so at least we have curb stops to prevent the cars, but plows don't necessarily know where the curb stops stop.
Right.
So we can add that to an agreement of some sort.
If we want to say that that's part of some kind of approval by the redevelopment entity and the applicant agrees, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely agree, because we're gonna be plowing anyway, so.
Will the applicant, it looks like it's bigger, are you hiring more employees, you think?
No, and they made the presentation at the planning board. If you went into their building now, their office, the reception area, and any administrative is maybe this big. So they have more office space, it's really just a redesign. And it allows for more storage of vehicles, but they indicated no additional employees.
Just want to check in with our professor, Mr. Maltese. So you any comments on your end? I know you did your report and stuff, but.
It's straightforward, like they talked about with the parking. We have some planning board stuff that we have to go over, but the other comment that I guess you guys would have to discuss is this change to the redevelopment code regarding 150% floor area ratio that was shown on the secondary frontage. It was outlined in my report on page 5.
Is that, well, it was approved bigger, wasn't it? So now that they're.
That's correct.
But they missed it, the review missed the calculation, right?
Yes, my predecessor, he went off the building footprint, but there's an option of building footprint or floor area ratio. And the last design was approximately 300% increase on floor area ratio. And all that was covered was building footprint. And it was covered under the secondary frontage, not under the primary frontage. So I recommended that it's primary frontage because one, the address is 38 East Main Street, which is a primary frontage road, and the access is only off East Main Street. So that would need to be revised.
We have to. Amend the ordinance, is that what you were saying again?
Yes, you'd have to amend the redevelopment plan. This was amended last time for this application in November of 2019, November 2020, November 2nd, 2020. This would have to be amended once more.
Actually, this was something because they were making the building smaller, get a chance to review this portion. We did approve a larger building by amending the application, by amending the ordinance originally. This goes back before my time. That's why, unfortunately, no, I just didn't catch that we're now revising this portion. So what Anthony says is true, we're going to need to amend the ordinance to allow for that.
One other question about, can we get confirmation that those vehicles will be stored outside the apartment?
So all we need is just a nod to advance to,
Well-
we have to amend the ordinance first, and then go to the planning board, or?
Yes, that's going to be necessary to say that it conforms. If it doesn't conform, then we're going to need to amend the ordinance. Of course, I said they're making the building smaller, but I guess this problem.
They're making the footprint smaller, but the floor area ratio is still over that 150% threshold that was outlined in the last amendment.
And we needed that same relief last time to a larger extent. It just wasn't picked up by your predecessor, whoever.
Yeah, he just focused on the building footprint, but in the code it's or, building footprint or floor area ratio.
All right, so basically, we prior approved a larger building.
Yes.
So this is a smaller building, even though the
And less floor.
FAR is still over that threshold. Now, so the protocol is, we need to do an ordinance change first, and then it comes back here, and then authorize planning board. Do they have to come back again, or?
Not to make any presentation unless you want them to. Essentially, the presentation is here.
I don't think that's necessary. We've already approved I don't want to speak for everybody, but everybody good with,
Well, I just have to say, the prior voting on this, I voted no. I don't like having an auto body shop down in the market yard. I didn't like that we amended the downtown redevelopment to have that in there grandfathered. And every other one I voted no. So I plan on voting no on this as well. Just wanted to
okay.
put that out there.
Well, I voted yes to this, I have concerns about the spots. And the only reason why I voted yes, because it's an existing business.
Right, it's not going away.
And that's the only reason why I voted yes, but that's not it.
Yeah, so, I mean, we approved a larger building last time, reception of Councilman Jordan. As far as protocol goes, they don't have to come back. We amend the ordinance, and then from there, we can say, this can advance back to planning board.
Yes, essentially what you did back in 2019, 2020. You guys will vote tonight, I'm going to say that to amend the ordinance, it obviously drafted, introduced, second hearing, vote on it, and after that it'll go to the planning board to make their
So
selection.
we need to vote on that now, or, okay.
Well, you don't have to, but that is.
Somebody like to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion, yes.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan?
No.
Reich?
Yes.
Schnur?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yeah,
Okay. Motion's approved, so the next meeting we'll put the ordinance on for amendment.
I'll draft the ordinance to allow for the increase, work with Anthony, get the numbers right, and then we will, once that's introduced, passed, we'll say that it is conforming and send it to the planning board. Of course, also the HPC will chime in, and then just to confirm that guys will agree to the plowing, snow plowing.
Correct.
And then that'll give us time to amend the plans to address some of the technical comments that Anthony raised, so when we're at the planning board, it'll be a cleaner presentation.
Okay.
So for us tonight, it's just the ordinance change regarding the FAR and a verbal agreement regarding the parking spots, or is that part of the ordinance, the parking spots and the?
No, that'll be part of the resolution, to say that once it's approved, the ordinance is approved, the resolution, that it's in compliance with the downtown plan, conditioned upon them agreeing to plow. Or fancy lawyer words.
And it's the FAR and the new interpretation of the primary frontage.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you.
Pardon me, can I ask a question? I'm very late to this subject. This whole process.
Can you come up and talk to the microphone?
It's just a quick question, again, just backbench.
Just state name and address for the record, please.
Frank Messina, 49 Williams. process started in 2019? That year, so it's 4 years to add the building in the borough? Well, is that a COVID thing, or I'm just.
There are a lot of things, this is only step one of a multi-layer process, and then we have to revise our plans, so we had to make changes, downsize our project.
Again, I'm just kind of surprised that you, 4 years to make an investment, is how I see it.
There's a lot of variables when it comes to the construction project. Aside from the time it takes for approvals, to get the hearings on the schedule, to get the approvals, and sometimes there's a back and forth where at a hearing, the governing body or the authority having jurisdiction may request changes, and so therefore those changes might be something where the applicant has to go back, make those changes, run the numbers again, and then come back before the board, so there's that item as well. But you also have a lot of moving parts and moving pieces, multiple different companies that are all working together on the project. And so as much as we'd like to say that the client's project is the main focal point of the work being done, sometimes usually there's multiple projects going on, and so potentially gets parsed out and things get updated and get coordinated and things like that. There are multiple projects that go on that, from personal experience alone, that there are projects that have taken 5 years and there's not even a shovel on the ground yet.
Well, you can understand, again, as an outsider, you can't.
Yes.
Years?
It is daunting when you think about, like, on a smaller project, like a residential project where you're doing an addition to your house or something like that, you can usually wrap that up within 6 months, a year and a half between the time you start the design and the time you actually get your permits to get going. When you're talking about larger projects, specifically commercial projects and upwards, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of people that have to get together, and that starts to stretch the timeline.
I do want to say this is the second part of this application. It was approved 3 years ago. So the applicant had this approval 3 years ago. And we just got submitted plans for revisions to this project this year, 3 years later. So there's a gap of 3 years. There's nothing being done on the project.
Okay.
And I just
Again,
want
as
to
an
add,
outsider.
I just want to add one thing. We had a company called Caballero Plumbing that moved in on Bannard Street, and they were in another town. And they moved here, and they loved the speed at which we approached, planning, zoning, construction, and whatnot. So, theirs was simple.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item 11 this evening is public comments. If anyone would care to make a comment to the governing body, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Lorraine O'Rourke. I live at 55 Wayne Avenue. This is not the first time I've appeared before you guys. I am a colony caregiver registered with the borough. Incident I had, again, dealing with animal control. On Thursday, September 7th, a Hispanic woman from the Spring Terrace apartments behind me she knows I'm the colony caregiver, and she brought me 4 little teeny weeny kittens. And, it was 7:30, so I know animal control is, you can't get in touch with them. So I did what I had to do last time. I spoke to the police department, and they said they would call animal control. That was very hot weather that day, and I literally had to sit outside with these kittens in a box. They were sickly looking. One was injured on his butt. He had a little blood, and he had maggots. And I called them at 7:39. At 8:38, I'm still sitting on my porch because I can't leave them out there closed up in a box because they would have died of the heat. I couldn't leave them in an open box because of the neighborhood cats. I called the police department again. They said, oh, we'll get in touch with animal control. 8:54, I called the police department back. Same thing, we'll get in touch with animal control. 9:11, the police department actually called me back and said that animal control may not come out because it's not cold enough. We were in the 90s, okay, which made no sense. I said they were injured, you know, and that's what I consider animal control to be doing. Just because I'm a caregiver, you know, I have someone who supplies me the food. I make sure they get fed and take it, you know, in. But these were new kittens that someone a block away from me didn't know what to do with. 9:26, I called the police department back and they still said, well, animal control hasn't called you. I am still waiting. It is, what, today's the 18th? It's been 11 days and animal control still has not called me back. I ended up calling Andrea Barica, and she came over and got the kittens and to take care of them, which this isn't the first time that this has happened. I mean, our taxes have gone up this year, and our taxes pay for animal control, if I'm reading that correctly. You know, yet they're not doing, I couldn't even get a phone call back from them. I actually even reached out to Senator Goebbels and, you know, let them know about the situation with animal control. I don't even know why we have animal control if they're not coming out and taking care of the injured animals that we call about. Let alone, just give me a phone call, common sense, courtesy, just give me a phone call. And Mr. Mayor, I have called your office. I believe it was back in June when you were on vacation. I'm just going off the top of my head. And I knew you were going to be away for like a week. I left a message for you to call me. I never got that phone call. On the 11th of a week ago, I called and left another message to talk to you about the issue that I had with the kittens, with the police department and animal control. Never got a call back. So there's like no accountability for animal control, and I don't understand. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you know, we've discussed this amongst ourselves. I mean, animal control, we're going to be kicking them, the people to the curb.
oh, well, thank God.
I mean, you know, when we hear the same story over and over again, we really don't have.
I mean, I'm doing everything I possibly can. All the cats, and I've said this before, all the cats that are on my street that I take care of are all neutered, spayed, the whole works. And I haven't had any new ones creeping in that aren't taken care of. I was going through years ago where I get 5, 6, 7 litters of kittens. Now I haven't had any. So this is like great, but when there is an issue, you know, when somebody calls me because they know and they bring me something, I'm not going to say no, but I cannot financially do that, okay? I'm doing what I can about taking care of the colony. Like I said, I have someone who brings me food. And I'm just trying so we don't have so many kittens running around, and then more kittens. So if we're getting rid of the animal control.
Well, there's a process that we gotta go through.
And how long does that possibly take?
Mr. Mayor, the other part, just to interrupt here, is that animal control is technically under the Board of Health. It's an independent entity outside of.
But I mean, even just a phone call. I mean,
Just saying that the Board of Health, an animal control officer in the state of New Jersey is under the Board of Health. So that's going to be really the Freehold Board of Health is kind of, I'll say, the entity in which is certain these decisions are being made. That is really more of the direct control. I mean, obviously, the council takes all of this into consideration.
We're working through this whole thing. And we have an agreement with the SPCA for the colony caretaker program. We're discussing animal control. We're going to have a conversation about it. We've been talking about this, and it's not finalized yet. So you'll be the first to know.
Is there any like
Just understand, in your household, if you don't like something, you could make a decision like
I'm just letting you aware of what happened. So it's not like, oh, everything's fine and dandy, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Jody Casella, Stuart Drive. I kind of have the same issue where, a couple of years, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was here with my neighbor. We had cats. We managed to get all our cats, spayed and neutered the cats that are now on our street. We've had no new cats since then. The other day, I put my dog out. My dog started sniffing, so I went over to see what he was sniffing. And underneath my woodpile were 3 kittens. I have no idea where they came from. All our cats are spayed and neutered. They were with one of our spayed cats. So whether she stole them from somebody or somebody brought them there, I don't know. I called the non-emergency police number to get animal control. The police officer came, who I thought was very rude. Spoke to Sharon. Sharon said she would not come out. I was told to put the kittens back. I told the officer I can't put the kittens back because they're not with the mother. They're with a spayed cat. It's not going to work. He told me that I should put them back. The mother will come back and she will move them. I don't want them moved. I don't want them on my street. I don't want to go through this all over again. We have taken care of our cats that are on our street. I don't want new ones moved somewhere else to have them, not be spayed or neutered, or to try to have to trap them again and spay or neuter them. So there is a house around the corner where they do have these cats that are indoor and outdoor cats. They're the ones I think that, I don't know if this is where, cat got the kittens from, but these cats are all over the place. I told the officer about these black cats that are all over the street, and that maybe these cats belong to these kittens belong to that cat. And he said to me, well, what are you going to do? DNA test them? I mean, he was just very rude, told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And he told me I should keep the cats for another 18 hours until animal control can come out. But animal control said that they would come out in the order of how they received calls. So I wasn't guaranteed the 18 hours. I didn't want the kittens. I told them they weren't even with the mother. They were with one of the spayed cats. And he didn't want to take the cats. I found him to be very nasty. And I didn't want the cats. He finally took them. I don't know where he took them. I guess to the police station. But it's the same issue over again. And the cats, I do have pictures. The cats were not well. The kids. And that came out and helped me out. She lives on my street.
Mr. Chairman, just to add to the commentary, I had called Sharon myself that late evening, and she refused to come out.
That was the first case.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo what Councilman Ushner said. We are in the process of handling this. It just takes a little bit of time, and
But it wasn't even just the fact that Sharon didn't come out. It was the police officer as well, who I thought was very rude, very nasty. And there was no reason for that. I mean, we tried to do the right thing, and we spayed and neutered the cats that are on our street. There have been no new kittens or cats since then. And I didn't want these kittens because I didn't want to go through that all over again. And he was just very rude. And I just wanted to put that out.
Thank you. We'll look into that. Thank you.
No.
can we keep?
Yes.
Hello, Andrea Barica, 236 Park Avenue. I'm just going to piggyback on Lorraine's situation. Here are pictures for you guys to document and have. There are pictures of the kittens with the maggots coming out of its injury. The kittens that were never picked up. And there's probably about 30 to 50 maggots Lorraine tried to, I'm sorry, I think she called 3 times the police department and sat on her porch on a hot day, and that was a refusal to pick up because of the weather. I never heard that one before. There was lots of excuses throughout the years, but that was the first one. I took them home. I flushed them out with what I could do. I have a rescue, it's called Rebecca's Rescue, that did take them because I'm not equipped with that. I just basically do TNR. I'm just going to read this, and you guys can have this after. She posted because she took them to the vet because I couldn't afford to bring them to the vet. The babies are passing out after their bottle. They just had now. What a big difference 2 to 3 days of fluid shots and milk replacer does to these tiny babies who came in severely dehydrated. So happy to say now we now see such a big improvement that we know all 4 boys in this litter will make it. They are just a week old and were found by themselves and thankfully rescued by someone. One has maggots in the back ends of him, and the person who had him for 2 days before us flushed them out flushed all the maggots out. When we got them Saturday night, they were in bad shape. We quickly gave them fluids to hydrate them. We also gave them a tiny bit of Capstar pill to kill any maggots if there was any in them. They all got vitamin B shots too. Our vet saw the one who we know had maggots on Monday, said he looked like they were all gone and said keep him on antibiotics for a week, and we go back for another checkup in a week to make sure he heals up. Where the hole is bigger from the maggots. He said he should make a full recovery from it. If anyone would like to donate, that was Rebecca's Rescue. So she took them in and took them off of me, which I had to drive all the way down to Brick, drop them off because Lorraine couldn't keep them. They would have just died. So again, the residents are picking up the pieces of a service that we pay for. It's not being rendered. It's not working. Depending on who's working that day, what the situation is, it's not getting done. And I still have here the picture of the mom who did get spayed. Another rescue sponsored her, which was at the Throckmorton address. I still have these 6, well, not me, Foster has them, 6 babies that still were never picked up by animal control. So there's 6 babies that still need to be picked up and taken to the SPCA that are with the foster. Mom is done. I took care of her. Rescue Ridge. Microchipped her, spayed her, gave her vaccination. She's going to go in for adoption because she's friendly. If you want to keep this one for your documentation as well. There's more cats over there. There's probably about 6 more that need to get TNR'd. There's a bunch of cats behind the Domino's that if you just drive past there, probably around when it starts getting dark, between 7:30 and 9 o'clock, even if you just drive by, you'll see all the cats in the parking lot, right behind Domino's and the CKO boxing place. Just drive by, you'll see them. There's Avenue A, still has tons of cats. I put a hold and I put the brakes on, because that's what I was instructed to do. We need the TNR program to start. This way, the statistics show that there is a problem in Free Borough, which I know, and thank you for everybody who has been working with me and hearing it. I mean, I don't know how many times we have to be up here and prove and show animal control is not working. I know it's a process, but in the meantime, kitten season's not over yet. It's going to keep going. So what do we do, and what do these residents do when we have kittens and a situation comes? We just wait for what? Because I can't do it anymore. I can't. We need to figure something out now, not just with the process is going. What happens if somebody calls and animal control doesn't show up? What do we? I'm asking. What do we do? What do the residents do? What do we do? We need answers. We need answers like last week, because putting them back out. I showed council, 2-3 weeks ago? Kittens got torn up, eaten. Paw there, tail there. I mean, you guys have documentation. What do we do in the meantime?
So
what's the answer?
I know I'm not supposed to answer, but, so I think we need clarification
Yes.
as to when they're gonna come out and pick up kittens.
Correct.
The other comment that I want to say, and Jody alluded to it, she did call me. I was at home, we're neighbors. She asked me to walk up the street. And one of the things that kind of concerned me a little bit is animal control said, well, if they're not sick, we won't come out.
Correct.
But you're asking a layperson to determine whether or not those animals are sick.
How do you assess
So,
that?
I'm just saying so they looked okay to me, but then one of the neighbors picked them up and mucus started coming out of this cat's mouth. So again, we're putting the onus on our residents to determine whether or not these are healthy animals, and we shouldn't be doing that, and we will get to the bottom of that.
Yes, that was my notes. I mean, even asking a police officer, that's not his job. That's not his job. His job is a resident's calling, asking for advice and help. He comes to a call. You don't ask the officer and put him in the situation now, him and a resident, about the animals. That's not their job. Their job is just to call dispatch. Animal control should be coming. Even with that, they're not supposed to be assessing. They take the animal and they bring it. They're not a vet. They don't have any background, medical. They didn't go to school for it. Their only job is to pick up. They are an ambulance. That's their job. They pick up the animal. They transport it to SPCA. The SPCA is contracted with us. They have to. Each town has to be contracted with a licensed shelter. Their animal control position is to pick up and drive to the SPCA. SPCA then have their doctors and their vets then determine what's the matter with them. You're not going to ask a resident to pick up an animal and turn it around. I did it because I'm experienced and I know I'm not, I as you guys know, I've been dealing with this. As soon as you turn that kitten around, the officer wanted to put the animals back because that's what he was instructed to do. His hands are tied too. We shouldn't be putting that position on the officers either. Animal control should be coming out, picking up the animal. They have gloves, whatever they want to do. If they turn that kitten around, you could see the kitten was going to die. You see the nose right there. She brought the animals to the vet. The animals were dehydrated. They needed shots. They needed this. They needed that. How do you put them back? I mean, not only that, but if they are, if a resident is calling about a sick animal, you're putting that sick animal now. If we really want to go underneath the health department bylaws, if the resident is calling about a sick animal, and if it truly is sick, and you're having animal control put that sick animal out there, it could be sick and having ringworm, giving it to children, and children come and pick up the animal, kids. So now you're putting your residents and humans at risk because you don't even know what they have. If you're pulling out a sick animal, come and pick it up because now you are endangering the residents and humans. But animal, it's very frustrating, as you guys can say. It's very frustrating. Something needs to get done though now. Action needs to be taken now about if a resident calls tomorrow and says, I have kittens in my yard, not sitting there or having to do 30 phone calls for a rescue to come and pick them up. Something needs to get done now with them picking up and not having someone sit on their porch for 3 hours or calling the police department 3 or 4 times.
We understand that. Unfortunately, I don't think we have an answer right at this very moment.
Well, we need answers because if we find it's kitten season still, if we find kittens in 2 days, and it's a transition for me too, telling people, and I've been trying. I think you've seen. I'm telling people, call the town, call it. If it's after hours, call the non-emergency police department. I'm getting people to do it. I'm transitioning to that. But when I tell them to do it, this is what's going on.
I think the residents and the caregivers are doing the right thing as much as they can in their powers to do right now. It is on us to kind of, at one side, work with the animal control services that we have right now to get them to respond.
Yes.
And at the same time, also investigate other avenues.
Yes.
Find a company.
I strongly suggest we go with a different.
Right. And we are looking into that. It's just, as Councilman Snur said, if you have a cleaning service that you don't like, you can say, thank you very much, don't come back.
I understand
For us,
that.
it's a little bit different, and so we are in that.
But in the meantime, what do we do? what do we do if we find kittens tomorrow? Go through this process that we're making the residents go through?
We'll have an answer for you. I'll get you an answer, all right? I will get you an answer.
I'm okay, okay. All right, that's it, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else from the public like to make a public comment?
I'll make one. So after she said,
Rob
Garrity, yeah.
Thank you.
Rob Garrity, 1 Oak Street. After she sent pictures with the cats, with the maggots coming out, I ended up getting a cat with a female that was in heat on Oak Street. And I called Andrea the same day after she sent me pictures of these cats, what she's doing. So we appreciate everything you guys have done thus far, but there has to be something with getting an answer to this, that, and the other thing, because it's breaking the backs of people that are trying. So it kind of feels like it's falling on the people that have big hearts for animals. Luckily, I'm in good shape. I was able to give her some money to help this one cat get fixed. A lot of people don't have the money, okay? So there must be some sort of way to get, if they're not answering the phone, they came out 4 times in a year, and they made, I don't know how much money the borough gives to this Uber service that doesn't want to come pick you up. If you were out with your wife and you called Uber, I'm not waiting for answers, I'm pissed. So we're at a point right now where we've done a great job with your help, and the people, the foot soldiers that are out there, I'm one of them. I don't talk about it, but we've done a lot together. If it wasn't for Andrea, I would have 70 cats on my block, Murray and Oak Street. We still have them. So we have a major problem. Whoever this person is supposed to be picking it up, the association, they gotta go. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there has to be something in between. Because right now we have kittens everywhere. We're going to be stuck with this problem going forward. Because they're coming out of the woodwork. And I see that we're making progress, but there's like, even on Murray, I don't know who's letting these cats, I don't know what's going on, how these things are coming, but they're coming in droves. So we have another cat we're trying to catch. It's a male, he's not fixed. So I don't really have the time to be sitting here trying to catch these cats either, you know, but she's doing the best that she can. I went over to her house and she has a makeshift thing. I mean, I'm only stepping up right now because of what she's going through. And if she wasn't involved in this town, it'd be a lot worse. A lot worse. 1,000 times worse. So I think somehow, and I've come and approached a few of you people, you know, council people, to let you know that I will help any which way I can. I have my own business and I'm dealing with people all the time, but I mean, this is getting to the point where it's crazy. And there's nowhere to go. And we have, like you said before, we have a huge Latino community that they don't speak English. And there's cats, we take our dog for a walk in the apartment complex, they're everywhere. So now they're coming over, so we have to work together as a team to get this done. And it's getting to the point where it's breaking us. You know, not me, but I mean, Andrea, we don't have someone like that, we're in big trouble.
And in that analogy, we have a team member that's not working with us as a team. And so we're trying to we're doing our best.
Yeah, and there's no interim, there's no emergency thing that you guys do. I mean, we're just looking for someone to grab these animals and to take them.
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar enough with what's out there in the process to be able to provide an answer.
Yeah.
I think that at this point right now, I think that we just rely on Councilwoman Jordan's comment that we will get an answer for you as soon as we can.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that the decision that we make regarding the current services and whatever comes forward, we're making the right decision. That's actually a service that's going to do what we need to have done. Yeah. And we can't just immediately break ties with the service that we have. So we're kind of...
What do you do in between besides that?
That's what we can
do. But, you know...
We have to figure that out, and we'll
okay. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment?
Good evening. Jeff Friedman. I am the Executive Director of the Freehold Center Management Corporation and also a resident. I usually come up here and talk about the wonderful events that are going on downtown. We got a great one Wednesday, Motor City Review, or Wednesday night, and our Flavor of Freehold. I also like to talk about the wonderful flowers we do and the holiday events and the holiday decorations. But sometimes I like to talk about other things, including how things are funded and facts. One of the programs that the borough went out and got grant funding for through the Neighborhood Preservation Program is the Half Mile of Horse Walk. They received grant money to do outside artwork. As part of that program, it was funded from that grant money, as well as from 18, 19, or 20 or so sponsors who donated horses, or donated money to purchase the horses and fund the event, including all of the ancillary processes that go along with an event like that. The event's been extraordinarily successful. I'm downtown on a regular, every day. And I see families and people taking pictures with the horses, posing their children on the stands. It has been both a good economic driver, bringing people down into the community, and a good social driver, bringing people down into the community. A health driver, people walking around, good for their health. And so when I read on Facebook, on a page that I cannot respond to, that taxpayers spent $4,000 for a reception, I get exceedingly frustrated. Because as the business advocate who represents the businesses, many of which who put in that sponsor money to fund these events, to see that is incorrectly being stated as being paid for by taxpayer money is frustrating. All money for the Half Mile courses is paid for through sponsorship money and through grant money that the administration under business administrator and the mayor and council's leadership has gone well and beyond going out to get grant money to help fund our projects throughout this community. I believe last count was somewhere near $4 million over the last 3.5 years, which is impressive. And it's important to know that when you're hosting something like that and you've got 18 artists and you've got 20 sponsors and you've got community people that are interested in meeting the artists, the right thing to do is to do a little reception for people. But the taxpayers should certainly know that none of that money came from the taxpayers. It came from grant money and came from sponsorship money. And that money was used to pay the hotel for their fair services. So it is a wonderful event. If you have not seen the horses, if you've not gotten down to vote yet, please do. And I am always happy to answer any questions about what Downtown Freehold does and the wonderful nonprofits we work with and the wonderful programs we work with the borough to bring to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else care to make a public comment?
Seeing no further comments from the public, I move the public portion be closed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Schnur?
Yes.
Stutzer?
Yes.
Okay, item 12 this evening is council comments. I will start with Councilwoman Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just got a couple of things tonight. Recreation will be partnering with the Spectacular Committee to sponsor the Haunted House Decorating Contest this year. The deadline to enter is 10/12. You can sign up your house online, just go online, or there's a QR code out there on the flyer that you can enter your home. The winners will be announced at the Monster Mash on Saturday, 10/21, at the Hall of Records. That event is from 6 to 8 p.m. So come on, it's so much fun. Halloween at Freehold was amazing. And we have a phenomenal committee that puts together 10 or 11 events. I will sit here and list them all, but if you go to the Spooktacular website, just write in Spooktacular Freehold, you Google that, all the events will come up. We have everything from window painting to hay rides, scarecrows, house decorating, movies. So get ready. It's going to kick off at the end of September with decorating downtown. Participatory budgeting is now in progress. We presented the ideas last week. at that time on Thursday. Voting open. Voting will be open to vote online or by paper ballot. Paper ballot, you drop here in Earl Hall, there's a box in the hallway, or you can just go online and vote. Vote up to 3 projects, and then the top 3 that are voted in will be funded in next year's budget. September 27th, the SPCA will be holding an open house here to educate people on our new TNR program. More to come on the time on that, but just mark your calendars on that. So we have signed a contract with them, and they will be here to inform people on how to become Cat Colony, how to register, that kind of stuff. So look for more information on that. And that's all I have. Thank you for coming out today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Councilman Reich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody that attended our 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony of the week. It is a great service that we're able to hold every year, and we appreciate all those that participated in the service and attended both in person and online. This past Saturday was a beautiful day for Latino Fest. The weather was gorgeous. There was not a sweltering side of the street. The music was fantastic. The food was amazing, and it was a great afternoon. I hope everybody got to come out and enjoy, and if you haven't, look forward to next year's event because it's always a fantastic afternoon at the festival. Friday night, the Free Borough Little League had a family night, and it was great to see all the kids together having makeup games, their own made-up games on the fields and on the swing set, and they had a barbecue going, and it was great to see the Little League family. Little League is starting back up again soon. In the spring will be the beginning of the season, and so if you have no small children that want to play Little League, it's a great down at Fields at Wilson Fields. Can I do a shameless plug for the PB voting? The Human Relations Advisory Commission has put a project in for the participatory budgeting projects, a downtown digital kiosk. So shameless plug. If you're looking for a project to vote for, the committee would greatly appreciate that. There are some fantastic projects this year. They're all wonderful projects. Just happen to have a buy into one of them because of all the work that we did on it. Last but not least, for those that celebrate, I hope you have a good Yom Kippur and easy fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Stern.
Thank you. I remember when we had the family day for the Little League for the kids when I was the Little League president, and that's how the home run derby came about. Because when the adults listen to the kids, that's the best thing, right? Because they're the ones. Let's hit home runs on this field, right? So that's how we started with the home run derby for the Little League. We wound up listening to the kids and doing what they wanted. I do miss those days, I gotta tell you. Other thing I wanted to mention is I said I think it's time we kick the animal control to the curb. I mean, that's what I said. But there is a process, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised I get a phone call tomorrow because the Board of Health hasn't met yet, okay? And it really needs to be vetted through them. Okay? I mean, I have an opinion, but it really needs to go through them first, and we have a council person that's the liaison to that. And we do have a contract with these people. And in my opinion, they're not honoring the contract, but there is a contract. So we have to take this kind of one step at a time. As frustrating as that might be. The last thing I wanted to mention, actually not the last thing, second to last thing is we have a veterans meeting on Wednesday at 7 p.m. here in this building. The last thing I want to mention, I've been on the Freehold Borough Council now for 17 years. It's not news to a lot of people that I'm not running for re-election. So this will be my last year. I've sort of remained silent so far about a lot of things, almost apolitical to some degree. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Facebook. I've been hearing about people talking about different things. And I think that's going to be coming to an end very soon. I'm a veteran politician.
Thank you. Councilwoman Schutzer.
Shredding Saturday, from the county, municipal building in the township, free shredding for anybody who lives in Monmouth County. I want to say that the 9/11 service was lovely, and I thank the Human Relations Committee for always doing that. I want everybody to know that the monument, the little 9/11 monument that's in front of the Old Borough Hall, is going to be moved to this building when we can figure out a way to pay for that particular job, because it's not cheap. But the 7th grade gifted and talented social studies program, the year of 9/11, the year after 9/11, designed, worked with our engineer, and took charge of getting that monument put there. It's something that's very special to us for many reasons, and it will be moved over here. So hopefully by next year we'll be able to have our ceremony here. But it was a lovely ceremony, and thank you. Today's workshop, sponsored by the Mayor's Wellness Committee at Hudson Manor for balance and falls evaluation, was absolutely amazing. We had a great crowd. Every person there was individually addressed and tested by the folks from professional, they're called the Professional Therapy Place right next to El Mason up here on Main Street. They volunteered their time and came in and did that. I didn't count how many people we had, but we had a big crowd, men and women. And it was really very worthwhile. It's amazing. Luckily, some will argue with this, but luckily I found out that I am balanced. And there was only one, there's only one little issue I had standing on one leg for a long time that, I may not have come out on top on, but it really was a great service to the people in town, to the seniors in town. And I thank Lynn Cannon for arranging all of that with Hudson Manor. Hudson Manor hosted us, and we thanked them, and it was very nice. I probably shouldn't say anything, but because I don't do, as was so eloquently pointed out a couple meetings ago, I don't do social media. So I don't see what's on social media. And as I've said many times, there are reasons why I don't do social media. Number one, I want to stay out of jail. Number two, I don't know how to do social media. Number three, I couldn't keep my mouth shut, so I just stay off of it. I used to feel sorry for the people who get on there and spew pseudo-facts. I used to feel sorry for the people and think, it must be sad to have so much time on your hands that all you do is have keyboard courage and write all this stuff on those things that aren't true. I am so proud of our neighborhood preservation group for the fame that they brought to Freehold Borough by this Half Mile of Horses project. It never once dawned on me that anybody would think, and never mind think, but get on social media behind a screen and say that we are spending $4 me want to throw up. That someone would believe that and spread that makes me furious. I went to that reception and I had some cheese and crackers at that reception. And never once did I think anybody would think that I was taking cheese and crackers from the taxpayers in Freehold Borough, because I wouldn't do that. And if anybody had been there, you would know that the people whose money sponsored that event and Each Horse Downtown were there. And they were thanked, and thanked sincerely, for investing in Freehold Borough. So you know what? Again, you see, this is why I'm not on social media, because I can't keep my mouth shut. Again, I just want to say that I am a taxpayer in Freehold Borough. My taxes went up too. I benefit from what's going on in Freehold, just like every taxpayer does. And if you think that I or anybody up here, all of whom are taxpayers in the borough, are going to approve things like $4,000 for a reception, then I feel sorry for you too, because you're gullible. I am right up to here with, and this is not my 5-page speech, by the way. I still have that in my folder. I'm right up to here with, on the backs of the taxpayers, on the backs of the taxpayers. Well, when I vote, that's on my back too. And because I am a taxpayer. And I'm a taxpayer who's a widow on a fixed income. And you know, in my mind, before I vote, I weigh in my mind what is needed and benefits the taxpayers in the borough, and what does not benefit the taxpayers in the borough. Whether the money being spent is worth what the return that we get from it. There's not a person up here who votes for foolishness. There's not a person up here who votes without thinking about the backs of the taxpayers. And you know, every one of us, but I'm speaking for myself, has been hammered for months by innuendo and rumors and facts that aren't facts. And I'm tired of being hammered, and I will no longer remain quiet. And this, by the way, has nothing to do with an election coming up, with political parties, with anything. It has to do with me and how I feel and how I'm right up to here with that. I work hard, as does everybody up here. And I have feelings too. And I'm tired of it. And I don't really care if anybody cares if I'm tired of it. But you know what? I say what I think. I have a reputation for saying what I think. I have a reputation for being straightforward, getting it out, and then getting over it. And I also have a reputation for being honest. I didn't come in here tonight to go off like this. But I heard this story, and it just tweaked me. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Sharon say the thing that tweaked me the most, I think the turning point for me after being hammered for all of these months, and you all know what we're talking about, I think the thing that turned me the most was when I saw Councilwoman Rogers, who's chairperson of the Finance Committee. And Councilwoman Rogers, when we were getting ready to introduce the budget, she had some questions about the budget. She had just suffered the loss of her father, and she hadn't had maybe the time to come in and sit down and get the answers to her questions. So she had sincere questions. As a councilwoman, as an elected person to the governing body, she had some sincere questions about that budget. And so we almost held up the budget until she had a chance to go through it and was satisfied that it was a sound budget. But she came in, she got her answers, she reconciled her thinking, and we went ahead with introducing it. Councilwoman Rogers, at that point, gave a very impassioned talk when we were being criticized about that budget on the backs of the taxpayers. Councilwoman Rogers gave a little talk about her concerns about that budget and how hard we had all worked on the budget. And in the audience, I heard, and I think I know who said it, but because I didn't see the person say it, I heard the person say it, I won't confront the person. But in all of this, I hear someone say, and by the way, excuse my French, but I want it to be accurate. I heard someone say, she's full of shit. That, my head came up, and I almost got up out of my seat at that point to say, how dare whoever said that. So, don't ask me why after I was done, I went back to this, except that in my sleep tonight, I'll be, I know. You know, this was purchased for me in the first place. Nolan Higgins, our mayor, purchased this down at the conventions, the League of Municipalities, for me. And always set it in front of me when I started. And you know what? I ignored him. And exactly like I'm ignoring the naysayers. All right, I really am finished now. I'm sorry.
Sure.
No, I'm not, George. Don't start.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Item 13 is a resolution authorizing a meeting not to open to the public in accordance with the provisions of New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12B7, contract negotiation. Someone like to move that?
I'll move that.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Schnur?
Yes.
Stetser?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go into executive session to discuss the contract, and we're going to come back out to close the meeting. We're not going to conduct any business, so I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Thank you.